The two of you share, and that, of course, is the problem of the danger that you are in just by being who you are. And let's talk specifically about the time in 1974 when there was a kidnap attempt made on you in the Mall in London. Can you tell me, tell us exactly what happened and your memories of that day?
It'll sound very disjointed and probably different, but the essence of the operation was this car overtook us and stopped. This was going up the Mall, what, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock? 8 o'clock night, I suppose. And it was fairly empty. And the Mall isn't all that well lit either. And we were sort of more or less in the middle. And it pulled up a bit quick, and so the chap just stopped to avoid it. And this man got out of his car, ran back, and the policeman got out of his car, and he walked round the back of the car. And when he came round the back of the car, he realised that this man had a gun. And he shot. There was an exchange of shots. And the policeman got off one shot, which I'm convinced came through the back window of the car, because that all hit me on the back of the head, and that was a good start. And then unbeknownst to us, his gun jammed, so that he became useless. And he was also quite seriously wounded at that stage. And then the chauffeur tried to get out, and he got shot. But my problem is, and I'm not sure quite which order all these things happened, but the chauffeur, when he went to get out of the car, he was shot. And he stayed in the car, and then he opened the door, and we had a sort of discussion about where or where not we were going to go.
What did you say? What do you remember the discussion? I mean, what did he say?
Well, he said I had to go with him. Can't remember why.
I don't think you really gave a reason why.
No, perhaps not.
But you were quite obstinate about it.
I said I didn't think I wanted to go. Thank you very much. I was scrupulously polite, because I thought it was silly to be too rude at that stage again. And we had a fairly low-key discussion about the fact that I wasn't going to go anywhere. And wouldn't it be much better if you just went away and we'd all forget about it? Which was, as it turned out, wishful thinking. And this discussion went on a little bit. Now, this discussion was interspersed with occasional bursts of activity from elsewhere, one of which was a policeman who sort of heard popping noises, and somebody told him to go and look. And he wandered over and literally tapped this man on the shoulder, because I don't think he realised it was gunshots. And he got shot, wounded, not fortunately seriously. And then we went back to having this rather sort of tedious discussion about not going anywhere.
There was a member of the public that came to have a look as well.
Well, there was, on my side of the car, there was a gentleman who'd obviously been walking down the far side of the Mall, and he walked all the way across the road, and he looked in through the window, and he went, so it is. And he turned around and he walked all the way down. Went off down the Mall.
Extraordinary.
I may not be right about the time scale, but that's just like a sort of photograph. I can see him doing it. And then off he went. And then it got slightly rougher, didn't it, at one stage, because we did, in fact, when he shot the policeman, we managed to close the door.
And eventually got the door back open again.
He got the door back open, but in the process of getting the door back open, the back of my dress split from top to... all the shoulders went out of it. And that was his most dangerous moment. I lost my rag at that stage.
But he had hold of one arm and I had hold of the other.
That was a bit later, though, wasn't it? Because when after he'd opened the door again, the whole thing had collapsed a bit, and then he grabbed my arm and pulled. Unfortunately, well, I don't know whether it was me holding on to him or him holding on to me, but anyway, we maintained the status quo for a bit. Because I wasn't going anywhere, put it that way. And then, at this stage, my policeman had managed to get back into the car from the other side. And my lady in waiting had left. We told her to get out, and she did quite quickly. In fact, she was going to pick up the policeman's gun, but some bossy lady standing on the side told her not to touch it. Fierce tone. So anyway, the policeman got back in, and he joined in the fray, and got shot again for his pains. And then somehow we all ended up on the floor. And I was lying, yes, flat on my back on the floor of the car, and you were basically sort of half on top. And that was just how we'd ended up after this tug of war. The whole thing rather sort of collapsed and heaped. But I could reach the door handle behind my head, And I opened the door and literally pulled the feet over my head and did a sort of backward somersault onto the road. And then waited, because I thought if I was out of the car that he might move. And he did eventually, and he went round the front of the car. I got back in the car and shut the door. And the police were there at that stage, and I said, "You, go on, now's your chance." And he then legged it off towards the park and was smothered by, I think, the local rugby team.